Wherever you want, most people go here. Sorry, I got distracted by being in that wolf head, which is very fun.
It's a fun way to spend a Saturday night, I'm sure.
How you doing, Ryan?
I'm alright, how are you?
Yeah, good. We've had a lovely time. It's getting very hot in this part of the...
It's getting very hot at the front as well.
Yeah, it's supposed to be getting to winter, but thankfully climate change is killing us all.
Oh, very good. That's a cheery thing to start with.
That's it now, I've got it out of the way, we can get into the serious stuff. Is this your first time in Belgium?
No, it's my first time at a convention in Belgium.
Oh, nice. How are they out there? They good to you?
It's been brilliant. It's been absolutely lovely. I mean, it's nice because Star Wars fans are great wherever you go.
I mean, yeah, is there anywhere that aren't Star Wars fans these days?
No.
They're everywhere, aren't they?
They're everywhere, yes.
Speaking of Star Wars, look at this.
There he is, listen.
Is that the original?
No.
On scale, how big is the original?
It's about that big.
So it's, yeah, the one there is amazing. This is great. Do you just take this everywhere?
Yeah, it's the little Disney store one, but luckily the guy who painted the actual BB-8 painted it for me.
I was going to say, it looks like it's weather worn.
Yeah, and the guys who build the R2-D2s took it to pieces and put lights in it for me, which you can't really see from me, but he's sort of flashing away.
That's amazing.
It just sits on my table.
How did you get this job? How did you become BB-8?
Well, I've been working as a puppeteer for about 20 odd years. And I did a film called Prometheus, which Ridley Scott directed, and my boss on Prometheus was Neil Scanlon, and Neil won his Oscar for Babe for the Jim Henson Company years ago, and I wound up talking to him on the phone one day and just was sort of bemoaning the state of the industry, and I said, and now I have to find out who's got the Star Wars job and kick his door in, and he said, oh, don't do that, I like the door, and he said, don't worry, I'll find you something, and he did.
And it was this?
Well, it wasn't initially this. He originally took me on as the puppeteer consultant, so it was my job to help the designers and the fabricators and everybody just make sure that all the creatures and puppets were performable. And we developed some of the bigger creatures, like the big Happabore and the Lugger Beast and those creatures you see in The Force Awakens. And while we were doing that, designs for this little fella started coming through, and I did some tests for it very early on. And then I just kept on doing it with my friend Dave Chapman, who's the other puppeteer who works with us on this.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So once they worked out they were going to do it as a puppet primarily, then Josh Lee and another very clever chap called Matt Denton, they got together and they started to engineer different versions of BB-8. So there's 7 versions in the original movie.
Oh wow!
So some have got wheels on the back. The version I'm predominantly involved with is a rod puppet, so I push him around like a wheelbarrow.
Like physically?
Yeah. So when you see him running through the desert, that's me running like crazy.
Oh really? Yeah. So not physical work then?
Yeah, it was. When we were first testing him out, he had a special kind of vinyl on the outside of him that had never really been used before. So Josh would give me a mock-up version of it and just say, run that around the back lot and see if it'd be dented. So I'd run it around and bash it with things. And I ran it around the back lot once and I thought, I'm going to die doing this. I was exhausted. I mean, I was a man of a certain age that had never seen the inside of a gymnasium. So I thought I would hate it if this film came out and some young strip of a puppeteer was going, well, there was an old bloke that did it, but he died in the desert. So I thought I should go off and get a trainer. So I went off and got a personal trainer.
Oh,
yeah, I went off and got a personal trainer for about 12 weeks. I went 3 times a week.
And got proper Hollywood of it.
Yeah, and I did all that because we were running in, 110-degree heat in the desert through sand, and you have to kind of be on your game for that.
That's crazy. Have you always wanted to do puppeteering and things like that, or is it?
No. No. I was an actor and I worked as a stand-up for a little bit, and I grew up in the theatre, but I lied at an audition for a TV show in the UK called Spitting Image.
Amazing, yeah. Spitting Image, incredible.
Which I lied at an audition. They said, oh, have you ever done this before? And I said I hadn't. And they auditioned me, and then 6 weeks later I was on television. I went, oh, I'm a puppeteer now then. And I've been doing it ever since, so that was about 1992. And from there I went to work with the Jim Henson Company for about 10 years, worked on the Muppets and did all that kind of stuff. And then just kept on jobbing, and eventually started working in movies and met a few people, and then you met Neil, and that kind of led to Star Wars.
Oh wow!
I was always a Star Wars fan though.
Yeah, I mean, who isn't?
Lots of people. Lots of people are.
I don't associate with them.
No, we don't talk to them. There are people that are.
That's such a, like, because most people puppeteering, like, they start and they build and stuff like that. Oh, interesting way.
I've utterly blanked it. I mean, the guy I work with, Dave, he wrote to Jim Henson when he was about 9 years old and said, I'd really like a job. And they wrote back, well, you're 9, so you can't really have a job. But then when he was about 24, they wrote back to him and said, oh, we're training people, come on. They found his letter, they pulled his letter, kept his letter on file. Yeah, they kept his letter on file and they took him in. And Dave and I sort of worked with Henson Company about the same time.
That's insane. Oh, that's amazing.
I know.
That's like a plot of a film.
Well, what normally happens is people go, yeah, I'll put that on file.
Yeah.
But they didn't. Hensons were great and they kept his file.
I like those little reminders got to like email back.
Yeah.
That's crazy. How did you? Because if you blanked your way into a job, what's that like the first day on set where you suddenly?
Well, it was lucky because they took me on as a trainee.
Okay.
So I was there to do right arms. So if you see one of these big puppets like Fozzie Bear, if you ever see, he's got 2 hands going in the head. So there's a guy with his head, like it would be Frank Oz back then. He's doing the head and the left arm, and then someone else comes in and does the right arm. And then with spitting image puppets, they had moving eyes as well. So you would either be doing an arm or you'd be doing the eyes. So you would learn. And I go to a class every week as well with one of the senior puppeteers. So I learned on the job for that one.
It's amazing.
I still have terrible imposter syndrome.
I don't think that ever goes out of any sort of industry where you're
that's right.
performing. Which spin image did you get?
I did the last 4 series, but because I was junior, I did Norman Fowler, who's a British politician that none of you will know. And as I got him, he was my first ever character that I was assigned to, and then he left the cabinet. So I had him for about 3 weeks, and then he got the album.
Yeah.
And then I started doing Camilla Parker Bowles just as she came on the scene, and then the series finished. So I did a lot of dogs and cats and arms and just things in the background.
So how do you then? So you've been trained up as a puppeteer. What came next?
Well, because Spitting Image was full of very, very good and well-accomplished puppeteers, they would go off and have their own jobs, and they'd take me as an assistant.
Oh, man.
And so you'd learn more and more, and then you start going to auditions, and I do voices, and I do that sort of stuff anyway. So I would start to audition for my own work, and then you start getting jobs, and just kept on going.
It's incredible. It's like a dream. So I love puppets. I'm such a fan of practical effects and puppets in general.
Yeah.
I find it like such a because puppeteering, it's all about nuance.
Yeah.
When you sort of, because I imagine you go in and you're probably overcompensating, and do you sort of rein it in, or do you point naturally?
You get to, for the most part, although not with this fella particularly, but for the most part you're watching what you do as you do it. So you have a TV monitor on the floor, so you can see the size of the shot and you see how big the performance needs to be. So if you're doing theatre, then you know you're going to play to the back of the room. But if it's close up, you just don't do too much. It is the same with him because we have different versions and they do different things. But the one we tend to get the best performance out of is the rod puppet. They're very, very simple, very low-tech version. I mean, it's got some animatronics in it, but if I want to make him look scared, I just vibrate the handles.
Oh, really?
And the vibration goes down the body into the head, it just rattles the head. So we can get things out of just a standard puppet. Pardon me. You can't get out of an animatronic all the time. But then equally, when they built the red carpet version of BB-8 that just rolls around on its own, that was because you don't want to see an idiot in a green suit pushing a wheelbarrow down to a premiere. You know.
So we just had Jimmy V on before. This is kind of the opposite as he does, because he was saying he's in a box and he has to turn around.
He turns the head and he walks backwards and forwards. But it's interesting with R2-D2 because, and I think Jimmy will be the first to admit this, R2 is a much beloved character, but a lot of his acting is done in the sound edit.
Yeah.
Because you can take Jimmy's performance in the Last Jedi and have him rocking around, and you can put happy noises, it's a happy joy. You take those noises off and you put a sad, or an angry soundtrack on it, it's an angry performance. With BB-8, because you can move his head, and you can dip his head, you can make him look surprised, you can do all kinds of other stuff with him, he's a far more expressive character.
It's quite cat-like in terms of
We went for doggy actually.
Oh, really?
Because I looked down at him at one point, very early in the kind of development phase, and I thought, well, he's the size of a dog. and the size of a toddler. And then I'd seen the script and we just started thinking, well, he's Poe's dog. You know, Poe sends his dog away at the beginning of the movie. Ray finds a stray dog caught in a net, and that dog follows her home, and then she gets the dog back to the guy who owns it. And so he's a faithful dog, you know, and he'll bite you if you annoy him.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's never thought of it like that.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a bit in The Last Jedi when he comes out of that station and Poe just grabs his belly. We did a thing with Daisy very early on because Daisy was one of the first new actors I met, and I said I was going to be playing BB-8, and she said, "Oh, will you do the noises on set?" And I do the voice for BB-8 during the scenes, and then they take it off and they put the proper stuff that the guys are stuck with.
Really?
Yeah. So that she asks it questions, and I'll go, and then answer it back.
What?
And so when the first scene that we worked on together really is the scene where she finds him, and she does the thing where she bends the aerial, and she takes the aerial out. Well, she did it a few times, and then the next take she did it, I just pushed the head forward, and she took it out, and he looked back up at her, and she straightens it, and she goes to put it back in his head, and he puts his head down again, and she puts it back in his head, and he looks back up at her again. And although they didn't make the cut, we did that 2 more times during the movie. And now whenever Ray is with BB-8, he just puts his head down and she just checks his area. Like a dog, I had a dog that had a broken leg. And when you say, well, how's your bad leg? He used to show you his leg so you can stroke it. And so that was their little character thing that every time Ray sees BB-8, he goes, look at my area, and she just tweaks his area just to see if it's okay. And it's those little character things that you can put into puppets that make them, I know this is a weird thing to say, that give them some more human or organic qualities.
Yeah.
Because Star Wars has got the most organic robots in cinema. Because C-3PO double takes.
Yeah.
You know, Anthony behind that mask. I mean, I think a lot of people don't quite understand how hard he works in that thing. And that character he brings out of that, without a face, he doesn't look left and right, he can't blink, he can't act with his mouth, you know, he's got no light and shade in that mask. But he got such an amazing performance out of that through his voice and his physical work that it's a wonderful. When I got to do the scene with the catatonic R2-D2 and C-3PO in The Force Awakens, it was very much like being invited to join Laurel and Hardy.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, because they are like classic sort of double acts.
Yeah. And I was just being brought in to guest star. It was fantastic.
What was it like when because you said you're a Star Wars fan, what was it like stepping onto that?
It was crazy. I was on The Force Awakens for 16 months as a consultant, so I was there for a very, very long time. And we started off, when I joined the creature department, there were 7 of us in it. By the time we'd finished with the creature department, there were 128 or something like that. It was crazy. And so when I went in, first of all, there were these pictures of Chewie, and there were various other creatures they were working on. And they looked like Star Wars, but they weren't quite Star Wars. And then you sort of seeing new Stormtrooper designs come through, and they were like Star Wars, but not Star Wars. And then we met Daisy and John and all those guys, and they got these Star Warsy costumes, but they're still not quite Star Wars. And I've been a fan since '77 as well. I mean, I had a report card go home from my school teacher that said that Brian's obsession with Star Wars will lead him nowhere, and he should concentrate on his academic studies. So we then went out, the BB-8 started coming through, and he looks a lot like R2-D2, but actually looks nothing like R2-D2. It's a really clever design.
Yeah.
And then we went out to the desert, and there's speeders and there's evaporators, and it looked like Star Wars, but it still wasn't quite Star Wars. And then we came back and did a few other bits and pieces, and we were driving the mouse droids around, and they were very Star Wars, but still not quite Star Wars. And then we went on to End Stage, where the Millennium Falcon was. So you get to go in there, and we did about 2 weeks, and they shot the film chronologically as well, which is very rare. So we were working with Daisy and John on the Millennium Falcon, and it was very like Star Wars, but still not quite Star Wars. And then Harrison Ford came to work. And he walked up the ramp in his full gear with his big hairy friend. And I'm in the cockpit going to I'm in the corridor to the cockpit, and he came up the ramp, and I've got my green nylon onesie on. And he looked me up and down, he didn't stop, he just went, "Who picked that look?" I just walked off. I'm like, "Thanks, Indy." But then we started the scene, and about halfway through the scene, I suddenly went, "Oh, I'm in Star Wars," and that was the first time it really hit home. I had a bit of a panic, not there and then, but because usually I've done a lot of work on children's TV or things that people the under sevens watch. But then it suddenly dawned on me that everybody was going to see this, everybody was going to have an opinion.
Yeah.
But it was the most amazing thing to do. And living the dream is a really, really overused term. But I did say to Dave, about 8 weeks in, if I wake up and this has been a dream, I'm going to be so mad.
It is lovely to hear that, because like, you can feel the excitement coming out of you. Like,
yeah, it is. Towards the end of the shoot, they showed a little 6-minute sizzle reel for us to see some of the things we've been working on. And they got the whole crew in, they gave us some beer, they fed us, and we were all very tired, so we were all a little emotional. And they put this thing on, and you could just, big men that make Bond films start to weep. And I went and I was bawling, I couldn't stop. And Kathleen Kennedy came over and said, "Are you all right?" And I said, "No." She said, "Well, what's the matter?" I said, "I've just seen this and I've realised it wasn't something I'd always wanted to do. It was all I'd ever wanted to do."
Oh, amazing.
I said, "It's the only job I'd ever wanted, and I didn't know it existed." Now
look at that, just in time with two. Beautifully, yeah.
I said, "I don't know what I'm going to do now." And she hugged me and said, "You're going to keep doing them."
Oh,
but this.
That is the dream story you want to hear when it comes to Star Wars. That was so well timed. You're like, it's all I ever wanted to do, and then two kids dressed in Star Wars gears.
That's it, I used to do all that.
How much did you pay for them for that?
Not enough.
Yeah. I really could talk to you forever, but I really want to make sure everyone gets a question.
Okay.
So if you have a question, we have a microphone, just get your hand up, and you can ask a question. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. I do actually just wonder, how does he move around? Is it like a remote control, or how do you run with him? Or?
Well, yeah, there are several different versions, and the one we use most of all is a rod puppet. So I do push him, and I have control over 2 axes on the head, and then the second puppeteer called Dave has the left and right. So if we want to make him look up and to the left, I have to get the head back over, and Dave has to turn it and hit his eye line. There are also a bunch of really, really clever versions with like wheels on the back, so it rides around like a trike. That Matt Denton drives those, and Dave does the head, and I just sort of do beeping duties on those ones. And there's versions that don't move, they rock around, but they stay still. But then they made the very, very clever one that you've seen go out to premieres and things like that, and I have no idea how that works. That's a porg in a hamster ball and magic and all kinds of crazy stuff. They're very, very clever men, do very clever things with that one.
Exactly that. It's baffling, because I always assumed there'd be like, with that one, a remote control version and a few others. I didn't realise how much was involved.
Well, yeah, I mean, the remote control ones, they're great until you want them to go across mud, sand, up hills, downstairs, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then they're not great at the away game. I mean, but for coming across here, when they can't paint it out.
Smooth concrete.
Yeah, they love smooth concrete, they love the red carpet. He does love a premiere, off he goes. But if like the shot where they're trying to escape to Jakku, if you see BB-8 in front of an explosion, that's digital, because it's easier to build a digital BB-8 in front of a practical explosion than it is to make a digital explosion behind me. So, but the very first shot you saw in the trailer of him just hammering him, that was me, pushing him away, and then Dave is strapped to the back of the camera car, bouncing around, desperately trying to keep an eye on it.
Oh wow, that's crazy. How did you do, which model was it that went down the stairs?
That's real, that's me.
Yeah, because that has a real weight to it.
They did have some weight to it, because they initially said I'd never have to do stairs. So we went on the recce, and Joey, the second assistant, I said, "Am I going to have to come down there?" He went, No. We get there on the day of the shooting, he went, "Oh yeah, the boss just wants you to come down 3 stairs. He told us we didn't have to do it."
Well, was that you again with a...
Yeah, so we decided very quickly that he doesn't like stairs. So if you look, he's like a toddler who comes down on his backside, and he looks at every step and goes, "Oh, I don't like it. I don't like it." He knocks himself down. And the more we did it, the more JJ went, oh, just go, do a few more. Go back. And there were, I don't know, there must have been 15, 20 stairs in that staircase. And we did that 10 times, at least. And he's about 25, 27 pounds.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's heavy.
How
So-
sensitive is it?
Well, it is super sensitive because it is a rock puppet.
Yeah.
So if I move it a little bit, it moves
So
a
it's
little
like
bit.
a tiny bit, it's a big movement. Sort of.
Well, no, with that version, you can be really nuanced with it, but the heavier it gets, the more kind of wobbly it gets. And also, when he's, that's the nice thing is, if you ever see a digital version of BB-8, we've usually done a reference pass for the CG guys first. So we've run it through the set, so if the head gets lost, if you ever see BB-8's head do that, it's because I've hit a bump and I've lost it. But that's kind of adds to his character.
Oh,
It's the
amazing.
imperfections of these things that make them perfect.
That's the nuance of the character. It's beautiful.
I hit something coming in once, and I knocked a box, and I said, sorry JJ, I hit the box. I mean, hit it every time, it shows you're there.
Amazing. Any more questions for Ryan before we let him go? You've got another one? Yeah, we'll take another one.
Yeah, so it's kind of a follow-up, but I was wondering, with the puppets in general, either for Star Wars or other things, are the designs final at the point you come to the set, or do they still change sometimes how they?
No, once they go on camera, that's it. But the process leading up to that has either been, some cases months, and in some cases weeks, depending on how soon they sign off on things. But there's a bunch of, I get to work with some of the most amazing artists you've ever come across. And that's from the design stage right the way through to mechanics, fine art finishes. There was one guy on The Force Awakens called Henrik, and he painted every single character and droid in The Force Awakens on his own. But he got help for the next few. But so you get the art finishes, the mold shop, the mechanics, the animatronics engineers, the people who program that stuff. They're just the most amazing people, and they work ridiculous hours, and they just and I'm sitting here, but you get interesting stories off of any of those people. And BB-8 is every tool in the box, and is a massive team effort. So I happen to be sat here now, but there's a whole bunch of guys that do this.
So exciting, so cool. With that then, what happens if something breaks or damaged? Does that happen?
Then we have to fix it fast.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't often have multiples, but he's got a pit crew.
Other than Harrison Ford, what was the biggest break on the set?
We don't mention that. That was a dark day. But no, the BB-8 has a pit crew. In fact, every one of these creatures has a pit crew.
Yeah.
Because if you think about some of the creatures, the guys in the suits, if you think like Admiral Akbar, okay, so you've got Tim Rose, who was the original puppeteer, is wearing the animatronic head. So you have Tim on the inside, you have another puppeteer on the outside doing his dialogue and operating his face. And then there are at least 2 other people blowing air into his mouth and getting him water and dressing him, and just each one of those characters has at least 3 people involved in it outside of the person in the suit. So when you get into stuff like Canto Bight and there's in that casino, and I think we had nearly 60 characters in there, the size of our crew alone is vast. And when the slate goes on and they shout action, everybody just dives for cover. And as soon as they shout cut, this army of people rush in with air blowers and water and all sorts of wet shaggy leathers for the backs of people's necks. It's incredible to watch. It's like an army.
So amazing. I really want to just talk to you forever, but my watch is over. We have to wrap this up.
Oh, very good. Okay.
Everybody, Ryan Aaron. Thanks, guys. You're here on the weekend, so yeah, I was
I'll come and say
going to
hi.
say, please go say hi, get photos and stuff. One more time, make him feel loved, Ryan Aaron.